Listen up, Mr. Right here is going to teach y'all something about using lists in your block-based coding project. It's a cool trick and lets you do some interesting things. Here's Scratchy, and he's going to help us learn about something called lists. By the way, you can download Scratch and run it directly from your computer without any internet connection. So if your internet connection stinks, download it and don't let sorry internet access get between you and some fun. Dang, forgot what we're going to talk about. Oh yeah, lists. This is what a list looks like. As Scratchy was walking among the roses at Duke, inspiration just overcame Scratchy. The result is this poem where every line is saved as a variable within a list. Roses are red, violets are blue. I love coding. How about you? Lists are located within the variables group, and once you have created a list, these blocks will appear. So let's head off to Scratch and try our hand at making and using a list. You get to Scratch by going to scratch.mit.edu. So we're going to demonstrate the use of something called a list in order to do that. Lists are over here in variables. So you go over on this side here on the palette, pick the variables palette, and there's a thing called make a list. Click on make a list. In this case, we're going to call it Scratchy Poem. I think that's how you spell poem. Now we have this list called Scratchy Poem over there, but there's nothing in it. And so we're going to create a block to load that just because that's a convenient way to do it. So we'll go to My Blocks, Create and Make a Block, and we will call it Write Poem. Booyah! And there it is, our beautiful little red block. Over here. Back. There we go. Okay. So, in order to get something in the poem, you have to actually use these things. Now, once we create a list in the variables, all of a sudden this whole area here in list pop up. There's the actual list, Scratchy Poem, add a thing, delete all, insert, replace, item 1, item number, length of the poem, does it contain something, show the list or hide the list. And to add something to the poem, we're just going to drag an add thing to poem. And we'll start typing. Roses are red. You. And now we have a poem. Oh, have to use it. Go to My Blocks and put a Write Poem. Drag that over there. And now there it is. We run it. Boom. There it is. Let's get this to where we can see it. And there we have it. Scratchy Poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. I love coding. How about you? So when you hit the flag, oh my, there's more of them. Now it's longer. That's not. Uh-oh, this thing's getting longer by the minute. Something must not be right here. So every time we do this, it adds to it. And every time we hit run, it's going to add to it. We're up to 12 lines now. We really don't want 12 lines. So really good coding practice is to use this thing called delete all the poem. And we put that in at the very top. That way we don't get these repeating things. Now when I hit it, poof, we're down to 4, just what we wanted. So Scratchy's got him a nice 4-line poem that he has written. All we got to do now is get Scratchy to recite it. And to do that, we go to the looks, and we can pull out the say. Now in this case, we're not going to fill in actual words. They're over here. They're in the list. We want them to say line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. So go to variables. And we have him say, item 1 of Scratchy Poem. Maybe for 1 second. Nobody wants to look at this all day. Slide this over. Go over there. Then we can have him say, item 2 of Scratchy Poem. I'm thinking we can duplicate this. Boom. Item 3 and 4. And if we go over here and run him, repeat your poem, Scratchy. Well, this might be a good time to put in the hide list. So why don't we do hide list? And now run it. Roses are red, violets are blue. I love coding. How about you? And Scratchy has recited his poem. Now the other thing you can do is you can add things into it, like you could have Scratchy say, this is a poem by Scratchy. And we could add, insert, a poem by Scratchy. Put an exclamation mark, works better. Now we can run it. Poem by Scratchy. Roses are red, violets are blue. I love coding. Oh, he didn't say the rest of the poem. Oh, we didn't add a say. One thing about these poems, if we undid the hide, we can see all these. We have 5 lines now because we've inserted this. Let's just pull this hide list out of here and show you. Delete block. Run. Probably need to have a show list, don't we? There we go. So we look at the show, we can see we have 5 lines here now, but he's only saying 4 because we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 down here. For this kind of thing, a loop would probably be a better idea. And when you use a loop, you don't necessarily have to know how many items are in there. So we can like take all these says and throw them away. And we can go in and get us a loop. We can have repeat. We could put repeat 5 times in there, and we could pick say. Ooh, wait. But the thing is, how are we going to get it to say the right thing? So we're going to say item of Scratchy poem. But here's where another type thing comes in handy. It's called a counter. We'll create a variable and we'll call it poem counter. And we will set our poem counter to 0 to start off with. And what we'll do is, right after this repeat, we will add in a change by 1. Now, how many times should we do this? We have 5 lines now. No telling how many lines something could have. So they have this command down here that is called length of Scratchy poem. Now we can put that in, and it will loop as many times as there are lines. And then we can change poem counter by 1 every time it gets there. So the first time it hits the loop, it's 1, and every time it hits it, the next time is 2, the next time is 3, the next time is 4, and we can have Scratchy say whatever line the poem counter is. For 2 seconds, maybe 1 second would be enough. Here we see our list. It's got 5 items in it. Let's just delete the show list and put our hide list back up there so we can see what Scratchy's actually saying. All right. Let's run this thing and see what we got. 5 lines here. Let's see if Scratchy says all 5. It's a poem by Scratchy. Roses are red, violets are blue. I love coding. How about you? That's courtesy of the counter. Now when you use these things here, length of Scratchy poem, and you use a counter, it doesn't matter how many lines there are. If we delete a line, it will go down a line. If we add more lines to it, it will go up. And so using the counter with a loop when you have a list is a very good idea. Thank you for your poem, Scratchy. All right, let's get back to the presentation. Well, that was fun. Now let's recap a few key things to remember when using a list. 1. Use delete all to clear your list each time the program runs. If you don't, you might get a really big list that you did not expect to have. 2. Sometimes accessing your list with a separate block for each item is not a good idea, especially if your list will change. In this example, if we add an item or we delete an item, this code no longer works. 3. Counters are frequently used in order to create an index to your list. Just be sure to increase it before the statement you first use it in, because you don't have an item 0 in your list. 4. Use length of list feature in your loops, and it won't matter if you add or delete item. It will adjust with every change you make. 5. Once your project is working right, use the hide command so that your list isn't shown on the screen anymore. Okay, that's sort of how lists work in general. Could you use one to make a random insult generator? Of course not. Lists won't do anything that's mean. So try your hand at making a project and reciting a list. Try it with a poem, to-do list, shopping list, or even the president's. Happy coding! The end. Hey, thanks for watching. See you around.